Well, first of all, Lisette, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us today. I'm so appreciative of you. And the first question that I always start with is, what do you like to get nerdy about?
Oh, history. I
Oh, really?
Yes. I like the History Channel. I like when I was little, I wanted to be an archaeologist. In my little head, I was going to go like Indiana Jones kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that. Now, is it like, archaeology? Is there any like specific period of history that you're really interested in, or just all things history?
Um, all things history, but I think I really like to nerd out when it comes to like the Mayan ruins and like
Mhm.
that kind of period, or the pyramids when they were built, like that silly stuff.
No, that's so fascinating too, because it's like a feat of like technology too, when you
Yeah.
think of like the size of the bricks that they used to make the pyramids and like just people were moving it. It's amazing.
And during that time period too, which was supposed to be like not, not as technologically advanced as we are now. And I don't see any of those things happening here.
I
So
know,
yeah.
right? Awesome. Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, I've already learned something, so I'm done for today. This is good.
Oh, you're so sweet.
All right. So, I wanted to chat with you today because of, the great success that you've had and the awesome story. And even just before we hopped on, you were talking about a new rolling sequence that you do after you work out. Like, just tell us about that, how that's kind of transformed your post workout, like body feels.
Yeah, so one of the neat things about working with you has been enrolling and learning from you has been that the results are pretty immediate. It's not something that you have to wait, wait 3 weeks or so for it to happen. Like you pretty much feel it right away. So I've been having doing a lot more back work with my trainer, so I was super sore. So I followed the routine that you have, post workout, rolling out. And you suggested how if you do that, you're going to be less sore or it's going to help you recover faster. And it really did make a huge difference. And really, like I was telling you, I didn't do the whole sequence or the whole 2 minutes. I just kind of did a little bit here and there because I was rushing. But even just that really made a difference. So it reminds me, like, if I just take care of my body a little bit, she's very appreciative.
Right, right. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot. I think like the biggest misconception is that, it's going to take hours a day and you have to become like this professional person, but it can totally fit into your busy day between workouts and client calls and like all the other things you're doing.
Yeah, and especially like even doing Zoom stuff that I've been doing a lot, if I stand, I can roll my feet, or I could put something under a little ball under my, hamstring when I'm sitting. So
Mhm.
there's all these things I can do that doesn't require like an entire hour or a whole, big time frame. I think that is true. We always think that like if we work out, we should be working out an hour or whatever, but just a little bit, 15 minutes, 30 minutes. So I've been thinking about it that way. And that's something that you helped me with actually, to break down time in chunks and not think of it, oh, I have to do this whole thing. Just do, 5 minutes or,
Mhm.
whatever it is. So
Mhm. Yeah. And tell me a little bit more about, what things were like before we started working together, like, the workouts you were doing and the movement and all of that kind of stuff.
yeah, so when I called you for consultation or coaching, I was having really bad pain coming all the way from like my hip all the way down, and I thought it was the sciatic nerve. I thought, oh my God, something's happening there. My knee was hurting. I couldn't. I couldn't sit. I mean, it was really bad. I even thought that I had to go to the doctor. Maybe that I needed some kind of procedure, something crazy like that. And then so then I called you and we started doing some basic things of rolling my quads, my glutes, and slowly and surely it almost feels like things started to get stripped apart, where all those
Mhm.
little muscles started to relax. And I don't have that. And we figured out there was the psoas that I was somehow kind of clenching whenever I stood up or whatever, did my work. And it took, I want to say, a month for me to get to be symptom free. And seriously, I thought, oh my God, there's something wrong with my knee. I'm going to need an operation or something. I went there severely. I need to take
We all do.
meds. Yeah, I was like, And so I started working with you, and then I also started exercising, and just moving and rolling has made such a huge difference. And it also has helped not just me not feeling pain in my body, but with stress, especially right now being in a pandemic and all this craziness. So it's been a huge, I mean, in my head, a makeover for my body, because I thought I was never going to get rid of that pain. I couldn't pinpoint where it was coming from.
Hmm. And how would you say it feels different for you, like when it comes to body stuff? Because we were just talking to you about like how sore we are from our workouts, but like, what's the difference in even like mindset or approach? Like, do you feel that there's a difference now compared to before?
One thing that's changed is I'm becoming more appreciative of what my body can do, instead of how my body looks or how I
Mm.
think it should be. And so that's been really cool, learning from you, where the muscles are and what this is, and that I can nerd out about that too. So the explanations that you've given, the visuals that you've provided, has made it easier for me to tune in with my body to where that part is, and how does that feel for me here, and what is this. And so I think my mindset is, I'm a little bit more grateful and positive than I used to be. I realize I'm expecting my body to perform all these things, but I'm not always tuning it up, right? Or
Hmm.
taking care of it, and it's not a machine. And I'm learning that if I just give it a little love, I think that's it, a little love, it's gonna love me back. And so that's been a huge shift, and just in this last couple of months. So yeah, it's been good. I'm really glad that I decided to do that and continue to work with you, right? Because
Yeah.
you need to continue to move your body. And I'm getting older. I'm 45, and I'm feeling a difference. So I need to maintain my muscle. I need to movement, fluidity. All those things are much more important to me now than they used to be. I didn't understand it as well, because
Hmm.
as I do now.
Yeah, well, I think we can get away with a lot too when we're younger, and it's just like you can't skip as much of the self-care piece and like the body maintenance piece because you 1,000% feel it the next day as you get
Yes.
older.
Yes, I have to be nicer to myself. Yeah.
But I love that body compassion, because I think we're definitely, again, the stress of the pandemic and all of that. But we live in a time where it's so easy to just like hop on social media and see all of these people who look like they have it so together and their bodies are so much better. And so, like anything that can help to not even reestablish, because sometimes it's like the first time of appreciating your body and what it's capable of, and even being able to appreciate that it isn't a machine, that it's more complicated and can be more simplistic than that, but just being tapped into like the flow of being a human in your body.
Yeah, yeah, and and being taken care of it this way. I didn't have to necessarily make a whole meal plan or change a lot of anything. It's just, doing the self massage. And it's kind of all kind of goes together. Once I started feeling better about my body and just how it works, I'm more likely to nurture it, nourish it better with better food. And like, no, I don't want that. I want this. So it's kind of like a little domino effect. Once I started this one thing, then everything else kind of came into place.
That's so awesome. And how does the therapy ball work and the self massage and the activation exercises, like how does that fit into your day? Because I know you're working from home, but you're also working out with a trainer. Like just take us through a day in the life of Lisette.
Oh my goodness, my days are crazy. Um, I'm trying to have a better routine. So I try to, when I get up, to do a little bit of stretching, because I've noticed that now as I'm a little older, I'm a little stiffer as well in the mornings. So that was one thing that I complained to you about before we started working together. So I'll get up, and then I'll stretch a little bit. I'll try to walk, and then I have my coffee. I'll probably start working, and then I like to do my rolling if I'm working, like the Zoom, while I'm talking. I'll take a little break, and I'll bring the balls with me to massage my feet. Um, Also, my neck and shoulders, because I get all, kind of stressed out. And then I've been incorporating the night routine. That's been huge. And I always do the activation. So I've been very good about doing the activation. And I do notice a difference of how my body is responding when I do the self massage and the activation. Um, I'm also realizing that I'm much more in tune with my body.
Mm.
Um, yeah, which is really crazy. Like I've noticed recently, I think because of this that I've been doing, that sometimes I'm standing and I'm just like clenching everything together. And it's like, why am I doing that? So it's like, okay, just relax. So, it makes sense that, well, sometimes I'm sore, like, why does this hurt? Or what is this going on? Um, so I'm, so I'm trying to incorporate it in my day to day as much as I can and not thinking of it as a chore, just like I would drink water, right? I have it right there. So I have my balls here and I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Well, and you speak exactly to this idea of just like mini movement breaks and like having movement be a part of just like what you do. And
Yeah.
it definitely takes practice to like get to that point. But once it's there, it feels a little bit more effortless. So even if you don't have this like strict routine, which even for me, sometimes it feels like stifling to be like, okay, well, at 9 a.m. I do this and at 9:15 I do this.
Yeah.
But to have it just be this thing that just naturally fits and flows within your day and what you're doing, and then you're further like encouraged to do more because you're like, oh, but I feel so much better. So it keeps cycling with one another. It's so super awesome.
Yeah, you're right. And I do try to do it at least 3 times a week. I notice that, and when I don't, my body reminds me I'm a little stiffer, I'm a little bit more uncomfortable. And the nice thing about it, and you've said this a lot, it's at your disposal whenever you want it, because you could do it yourself. So if I'm sitting watching TV, I'm like, oh, this hurts here, this, I can go ahead and do that. And I mean, I still try and get massages because I like that, but it's nice to have it. And I mean, just the fact that I was in so much pain and I thought that it was a sciatic nerve and that there was something really wrong with me and that I was able to get better. That was just a reminder for me, like, this is something I have to have in my life. Just like you drink water every day, I got to do it because it's just going to get more challenging as I
Mm-hmm.
as I get older.
Yeah. It's just like drinking water. And it can be that simple too. Like we don't think about drinking water because it's just, again, it's a habit already. It's programmed. It's easy peasy.
Mhm.
So how have your workouts changed over the last couple months?
So my workouts, so I got a trainer. So my workouts are pretty, in my opinion, very intense and difficult. But I've noticed that with having those workouts, so I'm doing a lot more weightlifting and circuit training or hit, that kind of stuff. Um, I've become a lot stronger, which is nice, and that
Mm-hmm.
kind of feeds into the body compassion as well, and that what my body can do. And that I think has helped a lot. But because I've been able to, not have all this pain, I've been able to do those workouts. And I noticed that because I'm much more in touch with my body and I'm learning, understand it a little bit more. Also, when she asks me to do certain things and hold certain positions, or make sure you activate this or that, I know what she's talking about, and I'm feeling it's much more connected. So even when I tell her, am I supposed to be feeling it? Like say I'm feeling it in my abs, but also my glutes and my hamstrings. Is that where it's supposed to be? And she's like, yes, exactly. So it's like, whoa, now I'm becoming my own little uh, self-monitoring
Yeah. Your
body
body's
person.
attentive.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, but that's so great because it makes your workouts even more efficient because you know exactly how to tap into, let me activate this and work here. And I know my positioning is better. So everything, again, like how it all fits in together. That's so great.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
what's next as far as like goals, maybe like fitness goals or other things? Like, where are you and your body going in the next couple months, let's say?
Okay, and the next, my body goals, I would definitely like to, like everybody, slim down a little bit more, trying to get into continue my 40s and be healthy as possible. Continue to do the training, maintain my muscle mass, is what I want to do. The next real big focus for me is my food. I gotta eat better. I mean, I think I eat pretty good in general, but there are moments where I'll have too much processed food, and I know that I notice the difference when I eat
Hmm.
clean as opposed to when I eat junk. And not that I need to like never eat potato chips or something like that. You know, I want to have a flexibility, but in the next 2 months, I really need to eat better, continue to exercise, and work on my sleep because I'm a really bad sleeper. I think I mentioned that to you as well. And doing this, the self massage at night is really relaxing and does help me get into sleep. So I need to do more of that. My body
Mhm.
needs more a recovery, I think.
Well, even just recovery from 2020.
Oh God, yes.
I just need to recover from this day because it's hard. It's hard, man. It's hard.
It is. And it's almost going to end. And it's like, what happened to this? Well, this year I feel is like a wash, you know,
Yeah.
and just, and yeah, and the nice thing too about focusing on my self-care is that's one thing I can control right now. There's so many things
Mhm.
out of my control with everything going on in the world and, you know, in the country. I mean, we could go on, right? But I can control how I take care of myself. So that's what I'm really trying to focus on.
Yeah. And I think for sure that's like the only thing we actually have control over. And even that sometimes I'm like, oh, what was that workout? That was terrible. But I showed up and that's what counts, you know?
Yes, I showed up and that's what counts. Exactly. I agree with you.
Mhm. So, what would you say to inspire someone who's maybe in a similar position where they're struggling with pain and they're not quite sure, like, what's my next step? I want to keep working out. I want to stay active. What would you say to inspire them to take that leap?
Ooh, what would I say to inspire? Um, that if you're catching it at this moment where you're starting to feel the pain and you know it's affecting you, the quickest, how can I getting on it, you know, making sure that you get an assessment, whether it's your medical provider or, you know, working with someone like yourself, to learn to manage it because pain is always going to be there in our lives, whether we like it or not. At one reason or
Mhm.
other, you know, we have an accident, we fall, something happens. And so it's never too late. You know, I hadn't been working out or doing any of this for a very long time. And it's never too late. It's okay if you don't have the perfect fitness or the perfect gear. You just start, you know. And once you start, you're going to start to also connect with yourself more and be more likely to continue that. But it's never too late. Just do it.
Mhm. Yes. And what about any like words of wisdom for those who are, maybe they're just getting started and they're like, I don't know, feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Like, what's worked for you?
What's worked for me is just to, because you know, with everything going on in life, I can definitely identify with feeling really overwhelmed and feeling like you don't have enough time. Um, what's worked for me is just giving myself, you know what, I have 5 minutes. 5 minutes is doable. You know, I think sometimes when we think of doing something, we think it's going to take more time than it's needed. So, you know, I'll put an alarm on my phone and just 5 minutes, whether it's to meditate, to, you know, self massage, we could do 5 minutes. And, you know, I spend tons of time playing with Candy Crush on my phone. I could be doing something else, you know? So I think if you're feeling overwhelmed, just to think about either 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you know, just to break down small chunks. And what I found was by doing those little time frames, not only was I enjoying it, but then I was like, I could do 5 more minutes. I have time for that. I can do 5 more minutes, you know? So you start realizing that if you just do it, start it, then it starts to get incorporated a little quicker.
Yeah, that 5 minutes is like a gateway for sure.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today. I hope that your story and your journey from back pain and worrying about knee surgery to like kicking major ass, like high fives to that. I hope that it inspires people who are listening. And any parting words of advice, anything you want to add?
No, well, thank you for having me and for helping me out with this because you were a big part of my journey. And if anyone is listening and it, you know, is thinking about it, is it worth it to work with Alex, or you know, is it worth my money, my time? I would say give it a shot. You know, just if you've already been following her videos on YouTube or you know Instagram and it's worked for you, and you have a very specific issue, I would encourage you to go for it. It's worth
Awesome.
it.
Thank you. I so appreciate you, and have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Take care. Bye.
What do you want to see more of? Comment below and let me know. Also, make sure you give this video a thumbs up so that more people can find it, and definitely make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you'll get notified every time I put out a new video.